If you could design your own gift inside a rule realm, what would you come up with? I got transported into a strange rule realm. Here, 100% chosen players had to design their own gift, with zero restrictions on how to use it. The catch? Everyone was watching. If someone guessed your gift, you died. But I spotted a loophole. The rules never said anything about a word limit. One second I was at home watching the Paramount War, debating whether a Kainu or Whitebeard was stronger. The next, I was dropped into this bizarre rule realm. A set of rules instantly flooded my mind. Rule 1. Design a gift for yourself. Only you may know what it is. Rule 2. All 100 players will be under constant public surveillance. Any spectator who correctly guesses a player's gift claims it at no cost. The original player dies. Rule 3. The last player standing may take everything gained in the rule realm back to the real world. Rule 4. Spectators may not interfere with players in any way, including but not limited to restricting movement or intimidation. They may only observe and deduce. Rule 5. A correct guess only needs to clearly convey the gift's core mechanic, trigger condition, effect, or form. Any language is accepted. Word-for-word accuracy is not required. Rule 6. If no one guesses a player's gift within the time limit, a forced duel is triggered based on crack progress percentage. Rule 7. Players may use their gift freely, but must comply with local laws and regulations. Any violation results in immediate elimination. Rule 8. Remember your gift at all times. The realm will conduct random verifications. Any player who forgets their own gift will be eliminated. I could wrap my head around all the rules, except the last one. Rule 9. Stay tuned. Seriously? You might as well have handed me some bread rolls. Who knows when they'll change the rules on us? When you're stuck in a rule realm, you play by its rules. I needed to start designing my gift, fast. I looked around. This was a modern parallel world that ruled out anything illegal or massively destructive. Around me, the other 99 players looked just as lost. At least we had enough time to design our gifts. I was deep in thought, trying to make my gift as complicated as possible, when some idiot nearby suddenly blurted out, "No way, I can turn invisible." The moment those words left his mouth, the guy slowly faded from sight. I'm guessing his gift is invisibility. Correct guess confirmed. Gift extraction in progress. The spectator who'd guessed it leaped into the air in celebration, and the fool who'd spoken without thinking collapsed silently in front of everyone. Seriously? Did you even read the rules? How is someone this clueless? With the first player dead, the rest of us snapped out of our shock and finally got it. Whatever you do, never let the spectators figure out your gift. The problem was we'd all arrived in this rule realm with nothing. Not a single coin, no shelter, no money, and every single person around us was a potential spectator. Just thinking about it was terrifying. Then a question hit me. Was there any limit to how long a gift description could be? As long as you could remember it yourself, now we're talking. My gift had to check a few boxes. First, it had to be flashy. Come on, it's a superpower. Boring is not an option. Second, some combat or defensive capability. You never know what might come up, and I needed something to fall back on. This was a rule realm after all. Third, it had to make money, or at least be useful enough to get by. But honestly, straight up cash generation seemed the most efficient. I just got transported to another world. I'm not working a 9 to 5. Fourth, it had to be stealthy. No one could be allowed to observe it. And in the later forced duel stage, there had to be enough hidden details to bury any crack progress. As for the fifth condition, stay tuned. So here's what I came up with for my gift. When I perform the seal gesture, Yin Shu Shen Mao Zi Hai Yu Chu Wu Tenyu Yin Si Shu Shen Mao, and shout, Suton Baku Suishua, my skin activates iron skin. Until my next bathroom visit, my urine will increase by 0.666 milliliters out of nowhere. I will also shed 5 hairs and 3 eyebrow hairs. An additional 100 red blood cells will be metabolized. The moment those hairs and eyebrow hairs hit the ground, 8 E. coli bacteria and 2 paramecia will spontaneously appear somewhere in the world. Once those 100 extra red blood cells finish metabolizing, a single water molecule will materialize in the sky, and 990,000 yuan will appear in my bank account. That is my gift. I'd already mastered the complicated seal gesture. Just decoding that alone would keep the spectators busy for a while. Since there were no restrictions on using my gift, I had to try it out right away. The moment I shouted, Suton Baku Suishua, the spectators around me exploded with excitement. I know that technique. It's the water style Great Waterfall Jutsu. His gift is the water style Great Waterfall Jutsu. Wrong guess, pal. Attempt failed. When no water came shooting out of my mouth, they started analyzing whether I'd hidden something in my gift design. Someone guessed my gift was a seal gesture that produced no water effect. Another guessed it was a seal gesture that sprayed water after a time delay. All kinds of wild guesses flew around, none even close. I couldn't be bothered. After all, they couldn't interfere with us, they could only watch. After a short while, the remaining dozens of players finished designing their gifts. Sadly, a few of them, some young girls and an elderly man, barely understood what a gift even was. Naturally, they couldn't come up with anything solid. They were quickly picked apart by the crowd of guessing spectators, and eliminated by the realm will. One player was quick on his feet though. He designed his gift as presence reduced to a level undetectable by anyone. Unfortunately, the spectators had clearly been through this kind of game many times before, even though none of them could actually notice that low presence player. The spectators went through their checklist like clockwork, reciting a long list of gifts that had given them trouble in past rounds. Reduced presence was on the list. No time to waste. I needed to find a bathroom. The second half of my gift hadn't triggered yet. I also needed to find somewhere to sleep tonight, and dinner had better be good. In just a short while, more than a dozen players in the starting zone had already been eliminated. These spectators were frighteningly experienced. They'd even organized professional analysis teams, tracking our every move. The players who were eliminated fell victim to the spectators' collection of past answers. They'd catalog gifts like reduced presence, disappearing from sight, and all manner of invisible, unspeakable, indescribable rule-bending gifts. Every last one. Gifts could be designed freely, but they still had to answer to the realm will. Some outrageous gifts simply never took effect, like someone who tried to design a gift that would send them straight back to the real world with a hand gesture. That one failed on the spot. Gifts like immortality or complete invincibility were never going to work either. When you get down to it, we were just toys the rule realm had dragged in for its own entertainment. The naive players who couldn't figure that out were already dropping one by one. I found a bathroom, took care of business, activated my gift, and just like that, 990,000 yuan landed in my account. By the time I walked back out, all the remaining players outside had finished designing their gifts. Then a new rule dropped. Supplemental rule. Spectators must return to their normal daily lives and may not verbally disturb any player. Keep all guesses to yourself. Honestly, I was thrilled about that rule. Being surrounded by people guessing out loud all day was like being put on display at a zoo. Lucky for me, I'm not socially anxious. Otherwise, that alone would have been worse than being eliminated. Someone had definitely noticed the 990,000 yuan that appeared in my account. So what? The most anyone could guess was, performed a seal gesture, shouted, Suton baku suishua, and 990,000 yuan appeared in a bank account. Dead wrong. I highly doubted anyone was watching closely enough to count exactly how many hairs and eyebrow hairs I shed in the bathroom. And for getting my own gift? Not a chance. The trickiest part was the seal gesture sequence. I had it memorized cold. 0.666. Easy. 6 is a lucky number back in my world. My birthday is the 3rd of May. That's where the 5 hairs and 3 eyebrow hairs come from. 8 E. coli and 2 paramecia. That's 5 plus 3 and 5 minus 3. 100 red blood cells in exchange for 990,000 yuan and 1 water molecule. My gift is perfect. When I came out of the bathroom, the surviving players had already gathered into clusters. As long as I stayed safe, joining the crowd seemed like the right move. At the center of the crowd stood a man in a suit and tie. He was rallying everyone to cooperate and stand together against this twisted situation. Some responded. Most just watched in silence. Beyond survival, the immediate problems everyone was staring down were simple. Where to sleep, what to eat. A few players in the crowd actually had money-generating gifts, but nobody wanted to use them now. The more you used your gift, the more you exposed it. No matter how cleverly you designed it, there was always a trail. Burning your gift just to solve a short-term problem wasn't worth the risk, and the rules made it clear. Only one of us would survive. No amount of bonding effect was going to change that. We were all opponents. The suit and tie guy watched his plan fall apart right in front of him. He kept bouncing around, trying to fire people up about unity, but hardly anyone bit. Then an elderly man stepped forward and steadied things down. Nobody wants to die, but full unity is too much to ask. Only one of us makes it out, so I suggest we form small groups. If someone doesn't make it, the rest carry their last words back to the real world. Everyone thought it over, most agreed, but there was a new problem. We had nothing but the clothes on our backs. No way to exchange contacts, no pen, no paper, not even the means to write a final letter. Time to shine. I called out, everyone gets a phone, easy to stay in contact and write last messages. I'll handle the money. I felt pretty safe at the moment. Being generous cost me nothing. I had 990,000 yuan to work with. That buys a lot of phones. And if I ran short, I could always take another bathroom break. I led everyone willing to come along straight to the nearest shopping mall. We swept through several phone stores before we had enough for everyone. The ones who wanted nothing to do with the group quietly slipped away. Nobody paid them any mind. Fortunately, even though the rule realm hadn't given us any cash, our ID cards had carried over. Setting up SIM cards was a whole ordeal, but we got a dozen or so group chats running and finally connected all the surviving players. The small group plan the elderly man had suggested got a solid response. 3 to 5 people per group. At least you'd have someone watching your back. While we were still at the mall, I slipped off to the bathroom again. Another 990,000 yuan. Just like that. I walked out of the mall and onto the street. At that moment, a new supplemental rule took effect. The skyboard appeared. All guesses about any player's gift would now be displayed on the skyboard. A fully correct guess would result in that player's immediate elimination. Each day, the player with the highest crack progress and the most match details would also be eliminated. As the rules settled, a massive skyboard materialized in the sky out of nowhere. All of our names were on it. Those closest to the bottom had the most of their gift figured out. The one at the very bottom had a teleportation gift. The trigger condition had already been identified. The gesture was tracing the letter D with a finger. What remained unknown was the range, along with conditions like what surfaces or materials it could pass through. But these spectators were relentless. High-speed cameras, big data analysis, they threw everything at it. It was only a matter of time before his gift was fully cracked, unless he never used it again. He was standing right there in the crowd, face drained of color, completely rattled. The others ranked near the bottom didn't look much better. The small group plan had been thrown into chaos the moment the skyboard appeared. Nobody wanted to team up with Liu Yang, the teleportation guy. Most people came to me saying they wanted in on my group. They even offered to help keep my gift hidden. I was the most financially free of anyone here, and living costs money after all. Converting a gift into income takes time. Finding someone who's already done the work is way better. After looking around, I picked a quiet, cool-headed girl, an anime-obsessed guy, and a high school student. I invited the elderly man too, but he politely declined. He said there was too big a generational gap and communication would be difficult. He chose to group up with others closer to his own age. Finally, I pulled Liu Yang into the group. I told him, "Don't use your gift for now. Just bet that others get cracked before you, and you can survive." Liu Yang joined our group, with me at the head, practically weeping with gratitude. "Thank you for taking me in, Gusheng. Save it. You're in now, so follow my lead. We survived together." On the skyboard, I was ranked second. I'd exposed some surface-level details so the spectators had plenty to work with. They'd picked up quite a lot. Seal gesture, Suton Baku Suishiwa, bathroom visit, 990,000 yuan. All that exposed, and I was still only second. The quiet, cool-headed girl was named Ling Shuang. She was ranked first. The anime guy was Cheng Kai, ranked 11th. The high school student Li Mo, ranked 16th. Liu Yang, needless to say, was dead last. The names below the rankings had already gone gray. Those players had been fully cracked and eliminated. My name is Gusheng. Tonight, we eat well first, then we find somewhere comfortable to settle in. Whatever tomorrow brings, tonight we live like human beings. The earlier supplemental rule had banned spectators from disrupting our daily lives, which took a massive load off. Otherwise, imagine trying to eat with a crowd hovering around you, shouting guesses every few minutes. We found a grand hotel and booked a private dining room. The private room was no issue. Money talks. When ordering, I fully committed to the role of a man who had just come into serious money. Order the most expensive thing. Order whatever you've never tried before. Spending meant nothing to me. Ling Shuang looked like she came from a well-off family back in the real world. I couldn't spot a single sign of discomfort on her. Cheng Kai and Li Mo were both from ordinary families. They were genuinely thrilled by the spread. Liu Yang was so crushed by his spot on the elimination board that he couldn't even focus on the food. I told him, "If there's anything you want to leave behind, anything you need to say, write it down now." I slid a notebook and a pen across the table to him. Nobody here was playing hero. The whole point of grouping up was so that when someone didn't make it, someone else could carry their last words home. Liu Yang hesitated. Nobody pushed him. We barely knew each other. We were traveling companions for a stretch of road. Looking out for yourself came first. Liu Yang quietly took the notebook. He ate without a word. Compared to him, the rest of us were in noticeably better spirits. I even ordered a bottle of wine, a small toast to the formation of our little group. No matter how confident I wasn't arrogant enough to think my gift would be the absolute last one cracked. Rather than living in fear, I'd make the most of what I had and enjoy it. Making it to the end would be great, but even if someone out there managed to beat me, I wasn't going out on an empty stomach. When we stepped out of the hotel, everyone instinctively looked up. The skyboard, everyone else's rankings were unchanged for now. Liu Yang had jumped up to 79th. Last place was 80th. The good mood faded. 3 more names were gone in just that short time. We checked into a luxury hotel for the night. Our group had the most stable rankings overall. Thanks to my early cash advantage, I hadn't needed to expose much of my gift. Between my financial safety net and the constant pressure of watching names vanish from the board, everyone in the group silently agreed to stop using their gifts. But this rule realm wasn't going to let us stay quiet for long. The next morning at 8, the 79th player was eliminated. Liu Yang moved up to 73rd. Then the supplemental rule dropped. All players must use their gift more than 3 times per day. Failure to do so results in elimination. By lunchtime, Liu Yang slid the notebook across to me. "Gusheng, I don't think I'm making it through today. My dad's number is in there. If you make it out, please call him. Get this notebook to him. Tell him his son was never able to take care of him in his old age." His eyes were brimming with tears. For a moment, I felt a genuine pang of sadness and a flicker of guilt for all my clever maneuvering. But 2 more names disappeared from the sky right then, and just like that, the guilt was gone. "Don't worry. If I make it out, I'll deliver it personally. If I don't, I'll pass the notebook on to someone else, all the way down to whoever is last." The new rule was brutal. Everyone had to use their gift at least 3 times today. Liu Yang said there was no hiding it anymore. It was going to come out. After lunch, he came with me to the bathroom. He teleported from one stall to another. Moments later, he slumped silently over the toilet. These monsters had planted cameras even in the bathroom stalls. I walked back to the table in silence. The others immediately noticed Liu Yang was gone. We opened another bottle, a quiet toast to a brief companion. We then noticed the skyboard had been updated. No need to look outside at the sky anymore. Look up anywhere and it was there. Every name now had 3 empty boxes next to it. Mine already had 2 check marks. I'd used my gift twice. Cheng Kai had 1 check mark. He'd slipped away briefly and used his gift while out of sight. I still had no idea what his gift was. Li Mo had vanished in front of us for a few seconds, used his gift once, and earned 1 checkmark. Ling Shuang had all 3 checkmarks filled. During that entire time, I hadn't noticed anything unusual from her. By dinner, we had all met the daily gift usage requirement. That ridiculous promise of no cost and no usage limit had been a joke from the start. Now everyone wished they had no gift at all. Never to use it, never to risk being cracked. The elimination board was down to 57 names. The rest had gone gray. On the 3rd day, Cheng Kai died. Not because his gift was cracked, he was killed by another player. because on that third day a new rule went live. Any player who exposes another player's gift by any means will receive a 3-day immunity period. This effect cannot stack. This meant open season between players. They no longer had to follow this world's laws. Humans are experts at finding loopholes. Sure, capturing and interrogating someone for their gift took time, and a 3-day immunity period was appealing, but just wiping out every other player and leaving yourself as the only one standing meant nobody needed to guess anything anymore. The rule had barely landed before we were attacked. Cheng Kai had been walking on the outside of the group. He took the hit. I never did find out what his gift was. At least he had written his final letter the day before. It was sitting quietly in my pocket. Limo's ability to vanish in an instant saved his life. I activated my gift. Iron Skin engaged. I grabbed Ling Shuang and we sprinted into the nearest police station. Players could hurt each other, but harming anyone else in this world was still forbidden. Clever. Very clever. Keep your gift hidden and harmless and other players come after you. Make it powerful and aggressive, and the spectators crack it in no time. Either way, you're dead. Fortunately, my gift had no offensive capability, but its defensive value was solid. Still, what on earth was Ling Shuang's gift? She was still ranked first on the board, with a crack progress of 0%. Terrifying. And she'd already completed her 3 daily uses again today. That day, names on the skyboard turned gray one after another. We huddled inside the police station for the entire day, barely breathing. Only 31 players remained. Limo's ranking had dropped to 30th. We parted ways without saying a word. Limo wasn't naive. He was just young. His only chance at survival was to take out the 30 ahead of him. The last thing we wanted was to stay close to a player about to go on a rampage, especially one whose gift we knew nothing about. Parting on good terms was the smartest move. He either didn't have the confidence or hadn't made up his mind to come after me and Ling Shuang, and I had no desire to get blood on my hands. I was still relatively safe. No more wandering around freely. It was time to think about securing a base. From inside the police station, I contacted a security firm, hired 20 vehicles and 50 bodyguards. Money lets you do whatever you want. Under full escort, Ling Shuang and I made it to a property sales office. A private villa with enough security around it would block the spectators' line of sight and keep hostile players at bay. Breaking into a private residence or planting surveillance inside were both illegal. Let the spectators analyze my drain pipes if they wanted. Maybe they'd figure out something interesting about my bathroom output. I turned to Ling Shuang. It's relatively safe out there for now. You're ranked first on the board. I think it's time we had a real conversation, Ling Shuang. I was confident she couldn't kill me, but the final force duel was based on cracked progress. She had 0% exposed and I was already at 12. At that rate, I'd be the one eliminated, and I had no intention of dying. You're smart. You already know what I'm getting at. Honestly, why did you choose to group with me in the first place? Was it really just about the money? Ling Shuang answered. During the initial phase, I evaluated the behavioral patterns of every participant. The data indicated your odds of winning were the highest. I only make choices I'm confident in. Ha, come on, really? Dressing up a lucky guess with all that fancy framing. You're pretty good at this. Psychological game, I'll give you that. She replied, don't dismiss it. I minored in clinical psychology. In my experience, I have never misjudged someone. I said, what good is reading people accurately? If I designed a terrible gift that got cracked in minutes, your psychology degree wouldn't have saved you then. Ling Shuang said, obviously you didn't. And based on past experience, my luck has always held. She finished, and I went quiet. Here we were, trapped in a rule realm, and she's out here leaning on gut instinct and luck. But why? What I'm really asking is, if you believed I could win, why come to me at all? Because my gift is actually very ordinary. I have no means of self-defense whatsoever. In a game this brutal, I needed someone who could make it to the end, someone to shelter me. But I have a reason I must go back. Or rather, there is critical information I must bring back. This goes beyond my personal survival. Critical information, what does that mean exactly? It could be you yourself, or someone you trust. So the person you chose is me, Gusheng. Ling Shuang told me, this kind of rule realm had appeared before, more than once. The government had been working on it, quietly, for a very long time. Ling Shuang was part of that research team. All the talk of quantum mechanics, space-time, neutrinos, it went completely over my head. But one thing was clear, their team had never successfully brought back any information from inside a rule realm. Everything they knew so far came straight from survivor testimonies. Now that she'd made it inside, she had collected an enormous amount of data, and someone needed to carry it back. At that moment, the skyboard showed Ling Shuang's crack progress spiked to 50%. It happened the moment she handed me the USB drive. The spectators had caught a piece of it, and honestly, so had I. Collecting data isn't just visual, is it? Scientists have their own instruments, their own methods. Ling Shuang's gift had given her exactly that capability. I promised Ling Shuang. Ling Shuang smiled, a rare, genuine one. We settled into the villa. The bodyguards were watching us too, of course. But whether it was a good thing or a bad thing that they could keep the rampaging players out, hard to say. For Ling Shuang, her crack progress kept climbing. I was afraid she wouldn't make it through the night. It was time for me to do something. This twisted world, playing with us like puppets. I started going through every name on the skyboard one by one. I wrote down rough gift directions for each one and handed it to Ling Shuang to guess from. Go through them one by one, I'm fairly sure at least one will land. I passed the paper to Ling Shuang. It had my guesses on it. I needed to buy her a 3-day immunity period. You're joking? She let out a cold laugh. What even is this list? Would anyone really design something this nonsensical when their life is on the line? You don't understand this world, I replied. Trust me, Guess from the list and at least one will hit. Ling Shuang hesitated, but under my insistence, she finally gave it a try. Lungs inhale 10% more air than normal. Guess failed. Don't guess mine. I'm the water-style ninja. Go through them one by one. Skip me. Start again. Around the 9th guess, one player's crack progress jumped 20%. That was the one. Ling Shuang hesitated again. Are we really doing this? If we get it right, that person dies? Are we sure this is okay? I'm the one telling you to do it. This is on me. It has nothing to do with you. In a game this brutal, this sacrifice serves a purpose far greater than any one life. Ling Shuang took a slow, deep breath. I understand. I know what to do. She started by adjusting the ratio, guessing a different percentage of air inhaled. No, wrong direction. I kept guiding her. Through round after round of trial and error, by the time our lunch delivery arrived, that player's name had gone gray. Ling Shuang's name lit up in gold. His gift was this. With every breath, the oxygen absorbed into his lungs was 3% higher than normal. A wave of guilt washed over me. For Ling Shuang, it was even worse. But the data still needed to be collected. Some feelings had to be buried in the face of something bigger. That evening, Limo's name went gray. We never found out whether he had been killed or his gift had been cracked. More than 30 final letters and various objects had been left at my door. These people had stacked their last wishes onto me. Humans are strange creatures. They trusted me. And at the same time, none of them would pass up a chance to take me out. The moment they realized they couldn't, they came forward with their final wishes without missing a beat. Some of them had been cutting each other down just moments before, and then the dying one would hand their final letter to the very person who had just struck them down. Ling Shuang had taken back the USB drive. She was now working with a full hard drive. Her crack progress had stalled at 50%, held in place by the 3-day immunity period. Outside, the remaining players had descended into chaos. What surprised me was that the elderly man who had first proposed grouping up, Uncle Lu, was still alive. How did I know? I paid for the information, obviously. The bodyguards stationed outside were watching me, but they weren't above making a little extra on the side. They had lives to live in their world too. On the final day of Ling Shuang's immunity period, the skyboard erupted in the most intense wave of eliminations yet. A few unlucky ones had made their gifts too complicated, forgot them, and were eliminated by the realm will. But the biggest development was the emergence of a schemer. The bodyguards brought back the news. This schemer's gift was a perception ability. He could sense the energy produced when other players activated their gifts, and deduce the effects, type, and method from it. He had been quietly collecting data the entire time, waiting for the final circle to make his move. Since immunity periods couldn't stack, he fed his information to the local civilians. The elimination board shed more than half its names in an instant, but he wasn't safe either. His move had exposed his own gift. The moment his 3-day immunity period ended, he was finished. On the morning Ling Shuang's immunity period expired, 2 people arrived at the villa. One was Uncle Lu. The other was the schemer with the perception gift, Zhang Jie. The elimination board now showed only 4 names. Zhang Jie still had 2 days left on his immunity period. He was the safest of us all. Uncle Lu's crack progress was also at 50%. Ling Shuang handed me the hard drive, and along with it a folded piece of paper. Then she spoke. My crack progress keeps climbing. The gift can't be hidden much longer. It won't be long before the skyboard reveals everything, and even if no one fully cracks it, after tomorrow the last ranked player gets eliminated. Gu Sheng, you've already figured out my gift, haven't you? Use my death to buy yourself a 3-day immunity period. I said, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Every day alive is a win. I've booked a proper dinner, food first, everything else after. Uncle Lu chuckled warmly. Absolutely right. Nothing in this world beats a good meal. Young man, any chance you've got room for an old man? I didn't turn him down. I even extended the invitation to the schemer. The schemer's name was Jiang Jie, the elderly man, Uncle Lu. We ate well, no holding back. I had the bodyguards bring in a mahjong table and called a young woman over to help manage my tiles. Afterward, Ling Shuang left, quietly, without a word. She didn't say goodbye. Still, I felt a small ache. A woman scientist. If she'd been a gray-haired, scruffy old man, even Einstein himself couldn't have charmed me the same way. Zhang Ge managed to get himself eliminated before his immunity period even ran out. He couldn't sense the details of my gift, so he decided to attack me directly. He didn't land a scratch, but he accidentally struck the young woman who had been helping with my tiles. The rule against breaking this world's laws took priority over the immunity period, and that young woman was a minor. Zhang Jie was eliminated on the spot. Uncle Lu and I played chess through the entire night. We both knew what was coming. The next day's forced duel, and his crack progress was higher than mine. Mine was 22%, his was 50. We played through the night. Uncle Lu went peacefully, though I suspect exhaustion played its part. In the end, I learned his gift. Uncle Lu said he no longer feared anyone in this world hearing it. 100 steps after every meal keeps you alive to 99. That 50% crack progress. It was all from the walking. I lay quietly in bed waiting to go home. I hoped the realm will would keep its word. Take everything I'd earned in this world. The hard drive was just a bonus. The villa and the 2 billion yuan in my account were what really mattered. My consciousness slowly faded to black. Faintly, I heard the rush of wind, growing louder and closer. I strained to make it out, and finally heard it. Welcome to the Rule Realm. In the last second before everything went dark, I was still thinking about how to spend the 2 billion yuan in my account. Should I convert the villa pool to a heated one? Then, welcome to the rule realm detonated in my skull like a thunderclap. My ears rang from the impact. Didn't the rule say the last survivor gets to bring everything back? The realm just pulled a fast one on me. I snapped my eyes open. What I saw was nothing like the modern parallel world I'd come from. No grand villa, no loyal bodyguards, not even the hard drive and bank card I'd had in my pocket. I was still wearing the same casual clothes I'd arrived in. The one thing I was grateful for, every single detail of my gift, was still locked in my memory, word for word. Those numbers were more deeply engraved in my mind than my own birthday. I reached up and pinched my cheek. The pain was real. This was no dream. I looked around. I was standing inside a massive circular battle arena. The floor was cold black metal. Tiered stands rose in every direction around me. But there were no spectators in the seats, only a thick gray mist. And within that mist, countless pairs of eyes, barely visible, fixed unblinking on the center of the arena. On us. Yes, us. Inside the arena besides me, 11 others stood scattered in small clusters. Every face wore the same expression I could feel on my own. Shock, wariness, and that razor-edged look of someone who had crawled out of a life-or-death arena. It didn't take much to figure out. These people were just like me, all survivors, all winners of their own separate rule realms, and now we had all fallen into the second trap the realm will had laid for us. Sure enough. The next second, a cold mechanical voice echoed through every corner of the arena. It had the same tone as before, only the content was colder, crueler. Round 2, Rule Realm, Gift Showdown. Rule 1, all participants are survivors of their respective rule realms. Each carries the gift unlocked in their original realm. All trigger conditions, effects, and associated costs remain unchanged. The realm will conduct a secondary verification. Any participant who has forgotten their gift will be immediately eliminated. Rule 2. This round has no spectator guessing phase. Participants must defeat all other opponents through direct gift combat. Rule 3. During the showdown, participants may use their own gift and any resources from their rule realm. Use of real-world items is strictly forbidden. Violations result in immediate elimination. Rule 4. The arena will randomly generate rule tokens. Whoever picks one up may temporarily modify a single rule. One-time use only. Token effects cannot stack. Rule 5. There are no team restrictions in this round. Alliances are permitted. Betrayal is permitted. An alliance takes effect only after both parties verbally confirm it. The betraying party gains 50% of the betrayed party's gift strength. Rule 6. The sole surviving participant will become the realm master. They will gain control over all rule realms and the power to rewrite any rule. They may also choose to return to the real world with everything they have earned, never to be summoned by a rule realm again. Rule 7. This round operates with no legal restrictions of any kind. Survival is the only principle. Rule 8. The showdown officially begins. Countdown. 72 hours. The moment the mechanical voice went silent, the arena floor let out a series of sharp cracks. More than a dozen rule tokens, glowing blue, floated up through the seams in the floor and scattered randomly across the arena. At the same moment, a new piece of information surfaced in my mind. Everything I had earned in the previous realm hadn't vanished. It had been temporarily sealed away by the realm will. If I could survive to the end of this showdown, I would not only reclaim my wealth and the hard drive, I would also gain the power to control the realms themselves. As for Ling Shuang's hard drive, I was only now beginning to understand. What she had given me wasn't just research data from the last realm, it almost certainly contained secrets about the realm will itself. I just hadn't had the chance to look at it yet. A cold, sharp voice cut through the air. The realm will is playing us like chess pieces. Round after round, never enough. The speaker was a man in a black trench coat, leaning against one of the arena's metal pillars, a blade with a cold gleam caught between his fingers. His eyes swept the room sharp with suspicion. The smell of blood clung to him. He had clearly survived his last rule realm through pure, unrestrained killing. Another figure stood nearby, a kid who couldn't have been older than 12 or 13. He licked his lips, eyes locked onto the rule tokens scattered across the floor. His voice was young, but his words were ice cold. Doesn't matter what game this is, last one standing wins. And all those tokens? Mine. Before he even finished speaking, he pushed off the ground and vanished into a blur. He shot toward the nearest token. The instant he moved, a massively built man nearby moved too. His arms swelled to several times their normal size in an instant. He swung a fist straight at the kid's back. "You little punk, you dare try to take from me?" The kid seemed to see it coming. He wrenched sideways at the last moment, dodging the blow. In the same motion, he flicked his hand. A strand of silver thread shot from his fingertips and coiled around the big man's wrist. The man roared in pain and yanked his arm back, trying to snap the thread, but it held firm. The harder he pulled, the tighter it wrapped. In the blink of an eye, the two were locked in full combat. The rest of the arena erupted. Some sprinted for the tokens. Others hung back, reading the room. Some simply attacked whoever was closest. The battle arena descended into chaos in seconds. Flashes of gifts lit up the air from every direction. War cries and screams rang out without pause. I didn't move. Not out of fear, I was reading the situation. Every one of the 11 opponents in this arena had crawled out of a life-or-death rule realm. Their gifts were anything but simple, and the ones who made it to the end either had gifts powerful and strange enough to dominate, or minds sharp and ruthless enough to outmaneuver everyone else. Some had both. My advantage was iron skin, absolute defense. As long as I performed the seal gesture and shouted, "Who built this dam?" I stayed protected, until my next bathroom visit, and all the hidden details baked into my gift, the E. coli, the paramecia. No opponent here would ever think to look for those. That was my ace in the hole. But my weakness was just as obvious. My gift had zero offensive capability, defense only. To beat anyone, I'd have to outsmart them. use the rule tokens, or play the Alliance and Betrayal game, and Iron Skin's duration came down entirely to when I next used the bathroom. If anyone figured that out, it would become my fatal weakness. So the smartest move right now wasn't to charge for the tokens or pick a fight. It was to find cover, study every opponent's gift, and identify their weaknesses. Then wait for the right moment to grab a rule token, and tip the odds in my favor. Metal barriers were scattered around the arena's perimeter. I used the chaos of the ongoing brawl as cover, moved quickly, and slipped behind a massive metal shield. It looked like a relic from a previous battle arena round, thick enough to absorb most gift attacks. Once I was in position, I started studying the field carefully, cataloging every opponent's gift and traits in my head. The man in the black trench coat, his gift appeared to be speed-related. His movements were absurdly fast, and his blade sliced through the big man's skin with ease. His gift was clearly enhancing the weapon. For now, I'll call him Dark Blade. The 12 or 13-year-old kid. His gift was controlling silver threads. The threads were incredibly tough and corrosive. The big man's arm already had bloody holes eaten into it. For now, I'll call him Thread Kid. The big man's gift was body enlargement, immense strength, and a body built like armor. Even the corrosive threads only scratched him. For now, I'll call him Titan. There was a woman in a white dress. Her gift was healing. She could repair wounds instantly, on herself or others. Two men were already circling her, forming an alliance, planning to use her healing to grind out a war of attrition. For now, I'll call her Healer. Then there was a calm, bespectacled man, holding a notebook. Whatever he wrote in it inflicted a corresponding effect on the target. For example, he wrote that someone's left leg was cramping, and the man charging for a token immediately collapsed, his left leg convulsing uncontrollably. A deeply unsettling gift. For now, I'll call him Notebook. A bald man could conjure firearms out of thin air, pistols, rifles, sniper rifles, the full arsenal. Shots sparked off the metal floor in every direction. For now, I'll call him Arsenal. The rest each had their own gifts. Flame, a woman who controlled fire. Torrent, a man who commanded water. Ghost, someone with invisibility. Oracle, someone who could see the near future. And then there was an unremarkable middle-aged woman who hadn't moved at all. No tokens, no attacks, just watching everyone with calm, steady eyes. Barely noticeable. I'll call her Phantom. Every one of these opponents had a gift that was either devastatingly offensive or disturbingly unconventional. Iron Skin kept me protected, but winning this was going to be far from easy. While I was still observing, Notebook seemed to spot me behind the barrier. He glanced my way, a thin smirk on his lips. His pen moved quickly across the notebook. My stomach dropped. I reacted instantly, activated my gift immediately. The words left my mouth, and an invisible barrier snapped into place around me. Almost simultaneously, I felt an invisible grip close around my throat. Breathing became difficult. A sharp pain exploded in my head. Notebook had written something about me, but Iron Skin had already activated. It absorbed most of the effect. Only a faint residual sting remained. Notebook stared at me, unhurt, and a flicker of surprise crossed his face. He clearly hadn't expected a defense that solid. He frowned and raised his pen to try again, but Flame had already locked onto him. She flung her arm out, hurling a massive fireball straight at Notebook. "Stop pulling dirty tricks, I'm dealing with you first." Notebook abandoned his attack on me and scrawled frantically, "Fireball dissipates." The fireball dissolved into a wisp of smoke and vanished without a trace. Flame roared in fury and launched another volley of fireballs at him. The two of them were immediately at each other's throats. I exhaled, but my guard went up even higher. Notebook's gift was too dangerous. He needed to be dealt with early. Left unchecked, he would become a threat to everyone. Just then, I spotted a rule token drifting in the air not far from me. Its blue glow was unusually bright. Its effects surfaced in my mind immediately. Use this token to temporarily modify a rule. All gift trigger conditions are temporarily disabled. Duration 5 minutes. This token was a game changer. If I could grab it, every opponent in the arena would lose access to their gift for 5 full minutes. And since I had already activated Iron Skin, as long as the protection held, I could do whatever I wanted in that window, now or never. I scanned the arena one more time. Everyone was tangled up in their own fights. Nobody had noticed the token, except Ghost. He was drifting toward it, invisible but detectable by the slight distortion in the air. He'd clearly spotted it too. I couldn't let him get it. My gift had no offensive ability, but I still had legs. I sprinted for the token with everything I had. Ghost was fast, but I was closer. Just as his hand was about to reach it, I lunged forward and snatched the token. It was ice cold in my palm. Information flooded into my mind in an instant, confirming the token's effect and how to use it. Crush it, and the effect activates immediately. Ghost hadn't expected me to burst out of cover. He was furious. An invisible strike came at me and slammed into my Iron Skin barrier. A dull thud, and the barrier didn't budge. I held the token up and grinned in the direction I guessed Ghost to be standing. "Thanks for the assist, buddy. I'll take this." Without hesitation, I crushed the token in my fist. Rule token activated. All participants' gift trigger conditions are temporarily disabled. Duration 5 minutes. Countdown begins. The instant the mechanical voice rang out, every flash of gift energy in the arena went dark. Every fighter froze where they stood. Flame's fireball hung suspended in midair, then dissolved into smoke. Torrent's water stream collapsed to the floor with a loud splash. Darkblade's dagger slipped from his fingers and rang out sharply against the metal floor. Titan's enlarged arms snapped back to normal size, and his body crashed to the ground from the momentum. Threadkid's silver threads snapped apart and drifted through the air. Healer's glow vanished. The two men beside her were left completely exposed. Arsenal caught them off guard, and they both went down on the spot. Notebook's pen froze against the page. He couldn't write a single word. The smug look on his face turned to pure terror. Arsenal's sniper rifle dissolved from his hands. He stood there dumbfounded, not sure what to do. Oracle's closed eyes snapped open, face blank with confusion. Phantom still hadn't moved, but a barely perceptible flash of surprise crossed her eyes. And Ghost, with his gift gone, materialized instantly. A tall, lean man, face twisted with rage, staring straight at me. 5 minutes. More than enough. I knew this was my only real window. I had to take out the most dangerous opponents in these 5 minutes and set myself up for everything that came after. First target, Notebook. His gift was too unpredictable. Given any opening, he could neutralize anyone in this arena. He had to go first. I charged straight at him. With his gift disabled, he had nothing. He spun around and ran, but he was nowhere near fast enough. I closed the gap in seconds. I drove my foot into his back and sent him sprawling across the floor. Notebook looked up at me, eyes full of fear. "You can't kill me. I can work with you. I can take out everyone else for you." I gave a cold laugh. "Alliance? Not with someone like you. I don't trust you for a second." I picked up his pen from the floor and drove it into his chest. Notebook's body stiffened. The light in his eyes faded slowly. His soul pulled away by the realm will. His body dissolved into smoke and vanished from the arena. Notebook was done. Next, Arsenal. His offensive capability was too high, and those conjured weapons were a problem. His gift was down for now, but if I let it come back online, things would get messy fast. Arsenal was crouched behind a barrier, desperately searching for any weapon he could use. He came up empty. When I came for him, he grabbed a metal pipe off the floor and swung it at me. I blocked it with one arm and drove my fist into his face, breaking his nose. Arsenal cried out in pain and crumpled to the floor. I didn't give him a second to recover. I stomped down on his head, again and again, until his body dissolved into smoke. Next, Threadkid. This child was merciless, and those threads were a nightmare to deal with. Letting him survive would be a liability. Threadkid was trying to squeeze himself into one of the arena's gaps and disappear. I caught up to him fast. He looked back at me, eyes seething with venom. "You dare kill me? When my gift comes back, I will cut you into pieces." I grabbed him by the arm and hoisted him off the ground. Then I slammed him down onto the metal floor. "Too bad. You're out of chances." The kid was light. The impact snapped several bones. His body dissolved into smoke and was gone. In just 2 minutes, I had taken out the 3 most dangerous opponents in the arena. Everyone else in the arena was shaken by what they'd just witnessed. They backed away and kept their distance, none of them willing to come near me. Ghost had used the time I spent dealing with the others to quietly slip away. He'd retreated to the far side of the arena, clearly afraid I'd come for him next. I checked the countdown. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. I didn't go after anyone else with the remaining time. Instead, I started gathering the rule tokens scattered around the arena. I'd used one, but there were still plenty left on the floor. I quickly picked up 4, each with a different effect. Own gift strength increased by 100%. Duration 3 minutes. Block one opponent's gift perception. Duration 10 minutes. Transfer your gift's attached cost to one opponent. Single use. Randomly generate one rare item from a rule realm. Each of the 4 had its purpose. In the right moment, any one of them could save my life. Just as I picked up the last one, the countdown hit 0. The token's effect expired. All participants' gifts were restored. The mechanical voice rang out again, and gift energy blazed back to life across the arena. Every remaining opponent looked at me, with a mix of fear and burning hostility. Flame and Dark Blade especially. Their eyes were full of killing intent. I had become their primary target. Healer spoke up, her voice ice cold. "You killed my ally. I want you dead." When I had taken out Arsenal earlier, I had also eliminated one of her allies. She hadn't forgotten. Her remaining ally was Oracle. Oracle stared at me and spoke. "I've seen it. You die by flame and blade." I laughed. "Is that so? Let's see how accurate that prediction turns out to be." I ran the seal gesture again and shouted the phrase, confirming Iron Skin was still active. I hadn't used the bathroom yet, so Iron Skin was still running. Their attacks couldn't touch me. Flame swept her arm and sent a barrage of massive fireballs crashing toward me. Dark Blade flashed across the arena, dagger in hand, charging straight at me. The blade glinted with cold light. His gift was clearly enhancing it. Healer stood behind them both, channeling healing into her allies to keep them from taking damage. The fireball slammed into my Iron Skin barrier with a series of dull thuds. The barrier didn't move an inch. Dark Blade's dagger struck the barrier with a sharp ring and was knocked aside. The impact sent a numbing shock up his arm. He stumbled back. Flame's face fell in disbelief. "How is that possible? How is your defense this strong?" Her fireballs were powerful enough to burn holes through Titan's body, yet they couldn't crack my barrier at all. I reached into my pocket and pulled out the token that boosted my own gift strength by 100%. I crushed it. "Nothing's impossible. With what you've got, you really think you can kill me?" Instantly, my Iron Skin barrier felt harder, denser, like it had doubled in weight, and a new piece of information surfaced in my mind. All the attached effects tied to my gift had also increased by 100%, meaning the next time I used the bathroom, my urine would increase by 1.332 milliliters. 10 hairs shed, 6 eyebrow hairs, 200 red blood cells metabolized, 16 E. coli bacteria and 4 paramecia generated, 2 water molecules, and 1,980,000 yuan, but that wasn't the concern right now. I still had the token that transferred my gift's attached cost to one opponent. I locked onto Flame. I crushed the token and focused my mind. Transfer my gift's attached cost to Flame. Rule token activated. Gift's attached cost has been transferred to participant Flame. The moment the mechanical voice rang out, all color drained from Flame's face. Her hair began falling out in thick clumps. Her eyebrows started going too. She clutched her head and screamed, "My head! It's killing me! Why is my hair falling out like this?" I smiled to myself. That was my gift's attached cost, minor looking as it was. Hitting someone with it all at once caused serious disruption. Flame was in the middle of using her gift when it hit, and the disruption sent her ability into chaos. Her fireballs went wildly off course, and slammed straight into Darkblade beside her. He had no time to dodge. The fireball caught his arm, and burned a hole straight through it. He let out a furious roar. Healer moved to channel healing into him, but a piece of metal I flung caught her wrist. The healing light vanished instantly. I seized the moment and charged at them. My gift had no offensive power, but I could use the environment, exploit the fractures between them, and let them destroy each other. The arena erupted into chaos again. Flame was thrown off by the transferred cost. Darkblade had taken a fireball to the arm. He turned his fury on Flame. The alliance between them had cracked. Healer was dealing with her own injury. She couldn't support anyone. Titan saw his opening and charged at Flame. Payback for the corrosion Thread Kid had inflicted on him earlier. I stepped back and read the field once more. My eyes kept drifting back to Phantom, the one who had barely registered this entire time. Something about her was deeply off. From the moment the showdown began, she hadn't moved from her spot. No tokens, no attacks. She hadn't even activated her gift once, as if this entire battle had nothing to do with her. But no one who survived the Rule Realm to the end was ordinary. Her gift was probably even more unsettling than notebooks. She just wasn't showing it. And Ghost, since his gift had come back, he hadn't appeared once, clearly lurking, watching, waiting for the right moment to strike from the shadows. Time passed. The number of fighters in the arena kept shrinking. Titan took down Flame, but Darkblade ambushed him from behind. Titan died on the spot. Darkblade finished off Titan, then clashed with Healer and Oracle. The three of them tore each other apart, and Ghost moved in from the shadows and finished all three while they were weakened. Ghost dispatched them and then turned his sights toward me, only to be taken down in a single move by Phantom, who struck without warning. He didn't even have time to react. In just a few hours, 11 opponents had been reduced to 2, Phantom and me. The 72-hour countdown had less than 48 hours remaining. The arena went completely still. Nothing left but cold metal floor, scattered rule tokens, and the fading traces of gift energy. Phantom finally stepped away from where she had been standing all along. She walked toward me, slow and unhurried, that same calm smile on her face, as if she were just out for a stroll. When she spoke, her voice was surprisingly gentle, completely at odds with the presence she carried. "You're strong. Stronger than I expected." I watched her, every instinct on high alert. "You're not bad yourself. You've been hiding for a long time. Glad you finally decided to show up. So tell me, what is your gift? No more hiding. There's only 2 of us left in this arena. There's no point pretending anymore." Phantom stopped. She stood about 10 meters away. She brushed a strand of hair from her face and said quietly, "My gift is actually quite simple. I call it Zero Presence. From the start of the showdown until now, you've probably already noticed, no one ever notices me, and even if they do, they forget me almost immediately. Once my gift is active, every opponent subconsciously filters me out. Even if I'm standing right in front of them, they look straight through me like I'm not there." My stomach dropped. Of course, this gift was terrifying. Zero Presence meant she could get close to anyone, anywhere, and strike without ever being detected. The target would never see it coming. That was exactly why Ghost had been taken down in one hit. He'd unconsciously ignored her presence until it was too late. I pressed further. "Then why reveal yourself now?" Phantom answered calmly. "Because there was no need to while the others were still around. All I had to do was stay invisible, and let everyone else do the work. But you noticed me, and you remembered, so there's no point hiding anymore." Then it clicked. Her gift had a weakness after all. The moment an opponent consciously noticed her and held her in their memory, Zero Presence stopped working against them. I pushed further. "So what's your method of attack? You can't win on Zero Presence alone with no offensive ability. My method of attack is rule control." A slow smile crossed Phantom's lips. "I didn't come from an ordinary rule realm. I was a candidate for the previous realm master. I fell one step short in the end, so the realm will threw me into a new realm. My gift, beyond Zero Presence, also allows me to manipulate rules on a limited scale. For instance, I can alter your gift's attached cost, or make your iron skin temporarily go offline." The words had barely left her mouth before I felt my iron skin barrier shudder. An invisible force was clawing at it from the outside, trying to tear it apart. And my hair, it started falling out in thick handfuls. My eyebrows were going too, far more intense than what I had transferred to Flame earlier. My heart seized. This was bad. She could actually control rules. I immediately pulled out the token that blocked one opponent's gift perception and crushed it. Target, Phantom. Rule token activated. Participant Phantom's gift perception has been blocked. Duration, 10 minutes. The instant the mechanical voice rang out, Phantom's smile vanished. She frowned, clearly feeling her gift perception cut off. No more rule manipulation. No more tearing at my barrier. The pressure on my body vanished instantly. The hair loss stopped. A flicker of genuine surprise crossed Phantom's eyes. "You still had a token like that?" She clearly hadn't expected me to be holding this many cards. I smirked. "You bring the attack, I bring the counter. That's how this works. You can control rules, I can block your perception. Neither of us has the edge here." Phantom's expression darkened. She understood. With her gift perception blocked for 10 minutes, she had no way to threaten me, and my iron skin was still holding. She couldn't touch me. Phantom said, even if you've blocked my perception, in 10 minutes you're still going to die. My rule control is not something a basic token can stop. The power of the realm will is beyond anything you can imagine. I met her gaze calm and steady. Then let's find out. I have more than enough ways to end this in 10 minutes. I charged straight at her. My gift had no offensive power, but I still had one token left, the one that randomly generated a rare item from a rule realm. I could use it to summon something with real offensive power and finish her. Phantom saw me coming and immediately turned and ran. She was fast. Her gift was clearly boosting her speed as well. I chased her without letting up and crushed the rare item token in my hand mid-sprint. Rule token activated. Randomly generating rare rule realm resource. Gift amplification sword. Temporarily grants the holder an offensive gift. One strike can sever any gift barrier. Duration 10 minutes. A longsword radiating golden light dropped from the sky above the arena and landed directly in front of me. I grabbed the hilt, and a surge of raw power poured through my entire body. A wave of golden sword energy formed around the blade, powerful enough to cut through any gift barrier in existence. The moment Phantom saw the gift amplification sword in my hand, her face went pale. She knew. This time, she had met her match. She stopped running and turned to face me. She was trying to break through my token's block before the 10 minutes ran out and reclaim her rule control. I wasn't going to give her that chance. I swung the sword. A wave of golden energy shot toward Phantom. She tried to take it head on, but the energy tore straight through her. Her body began dissolving into smoke, trying to escape, but the realm will locked her in place, and her soul was pulled away. She disappeared from the arena completely. With Phantom gone, I was the only one left. The cold mechanical voice echoed through the arena. Congratulations, you have survived the 72-hour gift showdown. You are the sole victor. Realm Master access unlocked. I stood still, listening carefully. You have two choices. 1. Become the Realm Master. Gain control over all rule realms and the power to rewrite any rule. 2. Return to the real world with everything you have earned and never be summoned by a rule realm again. Controlling all rule realms. It sounded tempting, I won't lie. Absolute power. The ability to rewrite any rule, never having to fear being summoned again, even holding the power of life and death over others. But I thought of Ling Shuang. I thought of Lu Yang, Chen Kai, Uncle Lu. I thought of everyone who had died inside the realm. Some of them had only wanted to survive. Some just wanted to carry their last words home. Some were trying to collect data for their country. The realm had always treated people like chess pieces. Discard them when the game gets boring. I didn't want that kind of power, and I was just an ordinary person. Before all this, just someone sitting at home watching the Paramount War, arguing about whether Akainu or Whitebeard was stronger. What I wanted was simple: go home with my wealth and Ling Shuang's hard drive, live a quiet life, and finish what Ling Shuang had started. Get that research data to her team, help them crack the secrets of the rule realm and stop more people from being dragged into it. Without hesitation, I chose the second option. I choose to return to the real world. Choice confirmed. Unsealing all earned rewards. Opening return passage to the real world. The instant the voice went silent, the sky above the arena tore open, a massive rift splitting the air. Through it came the unmistakable scent of the real world, and everything that had been sealed away returned to me all at once. Ling Shuang's hard drive, the bank card with over 2 billion yuan on it, everything I had purchased inside the rule realm, even the seal gesture, and my gift itself, fully preserved, fully intact. The realm will had even made an upgrade to my gift. The cost of being under public surveillance had been removed. My gift belonged to me alone now. No more living in fear of someone cracking it and ending my life. I took one last look at the cold, empty arena, at the space where those opponents had fought and fallen. A complicated mix of emotions washed over me. A rule realm was never a game. It was always a death match. Everyone who made it out had climbed over the bodies of others to get there. I stepped into the return passage. The rift closed slowly behind me. The arena faded from view. In its place, familiar city streets, the sound of car horns, the noise of a crowd. I was back, really back in the real world. I looked down at myself. The casual home clothes had become the outfit I'd been wearing before I was transported. Ling Shuang's hard drive in my hand, the bank card with over 2 billion yuan in my pocket, and my gift, still crystal clear in my mind. I walked to a convenience store on the corner and bought a bottle of water. I glanced at the store's digital clock. The time displayed was the exact moment I had been transported. Not a minute off, not a second, as if everything I had lived through in the rule realm had been nothing but a dream. But the hard drive in my hand, the card in my pocket, and the gift still burning clear in my mind, they all told me it had been real. Every single moment of it. I pulled out my phone, still had charge. I dialed the number Ling Shuang had left stored in the hard drive. It rang a few times before someone picked up. A steady, composed male voice. Hello, who is this? My name is Gusheng. I'm a friend of Ling Shuang's. She asked me to deliver some research data to your team. There was a pause on the other end, then barely contained excitement. Mr. Gusheng, you're alive. How is Ling Shuang? We haven't been able to reach her for a long time. A wave of grief hit me. I kept my voice quiet. Ling Shuang didn't make it. She gave her life inside the realm. She asked me to get this hard drive to you. It contains all the data she gathered inside the rule realm, and what she uncovered about the realm will. The line went silent again. After a long moment, a heavy exhale. We understand, Mr. Gusheng, thank you. Please tell us your location. We'll send someone to you immediately. We'll also make arrangements for Ling Shuang's funeral. She was a hero to our team. I gave them my location. I hung up and leaned against the convenience store entrance, watching the traffic and the crowd flow past me. My chest was full of things I couldn't name. Before long, a black SUV pulled up in front of me. Several people in white lab coats stepped out. When they saw the hard drive in my hand, their eyes filled with emotion, excitement, reverence. They ushered me into the vehicle and drove me to the research base where Ling Shuang had worked. The base was deep in the mountains, heavily secured. Inside were scientists, many of them, all like Ling Shuang, every one of them working to unravel the secrets of the Rule Realm. I handed them the hard drive. They began working on it immediately. I stayed at the base. Ling Shuang's funeral was a quiet one. Only the research team attended. Every face carried grief. I stood before her headstone and placed a white chrysanthemum at its base. Ling Shuang, I said quietly. I did it. I brought your data back. Your wish has been fulfilled. You can rest now. In the days that followed, I stayed at the base and shared everything I had lived through in the Rule Realm with the scientists. Every rule, every gift, every secret about the realm will. And using Ling Shuang's hard drive alongside my account, they cracked open many of the Rule Realm's mysteries. They developed methods to prevent people from being summoned and strategies for surviving inside a realm if they were. I used both my gift and my wealth to fund the base and support their work on a large scale, helping them move faster toward a complete solution. My gift proved useful in the real world too. I could use Iron Skin to protect myself and the people around me, and I could still use it to generate money. Every time I ran the seal gesture and shouted, "Who built this dam?" a trip to the bathroom later, 990,000 yuan would appear in my account. Over time, the wealth kept growing, and most of it went straight to the research base and to the families who had lost someone inside a Rule Realm. Every now and then I'd sit at home and watch the Paramount War, and every time a hand seal appeared on screen, it took me straight back to those days inside the Rule Realm, back to Ling Shuang, to Liu Yang, to all the people who didn't make it back. Sometimes I'd run the seal gesture and say the words just to feel the iron skin barrier settle around me, to feel in a real and physical way that I was still alive. One evening, I sat on the rooftop of the research base and watched the sun sink below the distant hills. I held a photograph of Ling Shuang in my hands. In it, her cool, composed face carried the faintest smile. A breeze drifted past, and for a moment, I thought I heard that familiar voice again. Welcome to the Rule Realm. But I wasn't afraid anymore, because I had survived. I had made it out. I had the power to protect myself and the people I cared about, and I would keep working to make sure fewer people ever had to be pulled into a realm at all. No more sudden loss, no more impossible goodbyes. And who built this dam? It wasn't just a survival phrase anymore. It was proof that I was still here, a tribute to everyone who hadn't made it. Life goes on. The threat of the Rule Realm may never truly disappear, but I carry Ling Shuang's wish with me, and the hope of everyone who was lost, and I keep living, protecting this real, warm, beautifully ordinary world. Because being alive, that's the greatest gift of all.